which quarterback do you trust more to win a big game, Matt Ryan or Ryan Tannehill?
Ryan Tannehill. There are a bunch of reasons for this. First of all, Tannehill's the guy who just got Matt Ryan's old guy, and you look at that's the best tandem. That's the best 1-2, and who's the one, who's the two in the NFL right now. That Tannehill's throwing the ball to, and he's got a great back. And he's been among the better quarterbacks the last several years. He's a guy trending in the opposite direction of Matt Ryan, who earned a reputation for choking in big moments. Like, let's be honest about that, including in the Super Bowl, and you can blame the coach all you want. And on top of that, who's the more mobile guy? Like, there are a million reasons. Here's the other thing about Tannehill. And look, do I believe in Tannehill the way I believe in, Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers? No. Or a talent like Justin Herbert who's ascending? No. Would I take him over Josh Allen? I wouldn't. There are guys I take before Tannehill. But he's a good quarterback. And people conflate efficiency with like dink and dunk passing. Tannehill can also throw it down the field. He's accurate down the field. The answer is Tannehill.
Now, Max, I have to go ahead and let you know that you're wrong, 100% wrong. I'm going to go with Matt Ryan. So I'm going to start off by saying this.
The guy he played with.
I'm going to start off by saying this, Max. I'm going to let you know this. Who revitalized Ryan Tannehill's career in the NFL? Do you know his name? If you don't, I'm going to tell you. Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator that he had. Who called the plays for Ryan Tannehill while he was in Tennessee? Arthur Smith. Let me guess, Max. Where is Arthur Smith now? The head coach in Atlanta, and is going to be calling the plays for Matt Ryan. Now, I will tell you this. At what point in Ryan Tannehill's career has he been asked to lead a team with his arm? There's never been a time, because I can remember a time in the AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs, them going down, and Ryan Tannehill with his arm could not lead this team back to victory so they could make it to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go with Matt Ryan 100% because I've seen Matt Ryan, I play with Matt Ryan, and I know what he's capable of. Listen, now, Max, if you want to say Derrick Henry, I understand. If you want to say Derrick Henry, because if you look at all the big games that Ryan Tannehill has played in the playoffs, he threw for 72 yards, 88 yards, 209 yards, 165 yards. So in my eyes, that tells me Derrick Henry is the player that you should be trusted in the big game and not Ryan Tannehill.
Go ahead, Marcus.
I ain't gonna lie, Max. I ain't gonna lie. That's a hell of an argument by Harry.
I thought so
That's
too.
That's a hell of an argument when you start thinking about Matt Ryan being leading. But I'm with you, Max. It's Ryan Tannehill. Because we're talking about today. We're talking about the level these guys are playing at right now. And right now, I trust Ryan Tannehill in the big game. And yes, Derrick Henry brings a lot of attention, and he does a lot of things that I believe takes away, obviously, as it should, takes away from Ryan Tannehill really being able to leave true imprints on the game. But the one thing you mentioned, Max, where I agree, is that right now in today's NFL, I'm going to trust the guy that can get himself out of trouble a little bit more. And that's Ryan Tannehill for me. I'm going to trust the guy that has Julio and AJ. I'm going to trust the fact that having those guys gives Ryan Tannehill the edge as well. And when we talk about playing at a high level right now, Ryan Tannehill is playing as well as Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan throws for a lot of yards every year. Matt Ryan has had Julio Jones every year of his career damn near. He's got Calvin Ridley. Now he has Kyle Pitts. He's going to have success from an offensive standpoint. But if I'm in one game, and I think that both of these quarterbacks are playing at the similar level, I'm going to go with the more athletic guy. And I'm going to go with the guy with better weapons. And that's Ryan Tannehill right now for the Tennessee Titans.
First of all, I thought, Harry, your argument was very good, too. And the Arthur Smith thing especially is interesting to me because the last time Matt Ryan had a coach in the offensive coordinator in Shanahan that really made the best use of Julio Jones, right? That was when he was MVP and he had an MVP and they were in the Super Bowl. But I will remind you, they collapsed in the Super Bowl. And that wasn't the first time. As a people who watch the Falcons go, damn, Matt Ryan, can you close the deal? Now we're talking about him in a more advanced stage of his career with fewer weapons. So does a coach make up the difference on Tannehill? Where I also agree with you, Tannehill is not the kind of guy you think he's going to get it done as a thrower of the football the way you think of Matt Ryan that way. But when it comes down to the
Absolutely.
game on the line, do I trust Matt Ryan right now more than I trust Tannehill, especially given their situations? I don't. I trust Tannehill more. There are guys I trust more than Tannehill. Matt Ryan is not one of them.
Max, you obviously haven't followed Matt Ryan's career because I was a part of numerous of occasions where we have been down and we had to start inside the 10-yard line to go put our team in field goal range and win a game. Go down and score a touchdown and win the game. Now, you cannot ignore the fact that Arthur Smith is not there in Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill. He revitalized his career. That same guy, if we're talking about right now, Marcus, is in Atlanta. Is going to be calling the plays for the Atlanta Falcons. So that's why I get an edge to Matt Ryan.
Yeah, Marcus.
Well, I just don't have the capacity right now for Matt Ryan in this part of his career for Arthur Smith to make that significant of a difference where he becomes a Super Bowl quarterback. Look, the Falcons ain't going to the Super Bowl. That's number one. The Falcons got to fight to make the playoffs. That's number two. And when we think about Ryan Tannehill, all of the points that Max and I brought up for me, and we talking about right now, I ain't going over the career. I didn't bring up anything about what Ryan Tannehill has done over his career. His career has been up and down until he got to the point that where he was in Tennessee with a complimentary run game.
Smith.
And to your point, Arthur Smith. If the type with Arthur Smith, I'm about to get there. With the type of mind that I believe Vrabel has, and what Vrabel has seen as a head coach with the Titans, it ain't no way in hell he about to put Ryan Tannehill in a different scheme. So if he executing Arthur Smith's scheme, and I think the guy that they brought in, I can't think of his name right now, and that sucks for me as an analyst. I think the guy that they brought in to be the OC is same philosophy, terminology that Arthur Smith brought to the Tennessee Titans. On top of that, the biggest point, athleticism.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.